I want to get an early start on my potatoes this year. And the only way that I can do that is by getting them to chit as soon as possible and then growing them inside for a while, or in a greenhouse covered in bubble wrap and fleece. Because the colder that compost is, the slower your potatoes are going to grow, which is also another reason why I chit the potatoes. Get them sprouting before I put them into that compost. But I'm only doing that with my early potatoes, because otherwise you end up with things like this happening. If you saw videos that we did before Christmas, we tried to grow some Christmas potatoes. Unfortunately, you'll remember December was one of the coldest we've had for a long time, and that's basically what happened to that plant. It died off. They're not going to withstand temperatures of -4. But if we put them in containers now, they will slowly grow. But before we can do that, what we need to do is chit these potatoes. And to chit them, you need to take them indoors and keep them somewhere in a coolish room that's got plenty of light. Don't put them in a bag in a cupboard, because if you do, you'll get long white spindly shoots appearing. They're no good. You want short stubby, greeny, purple coloured shoots. And that process can take 4 to 6 weeks for that to happen. So you need to count back from your last frost date. Ours is the 2nd week in May. So we'll go back 6 weeks from then, and that's when we need to start chitting. For planting them outdoors in containers, because that's going to be early spring. But because I'm taking them indoors, I can get an even earlier start. And we're only doing a couple of containers. And we're going to use as second early potatoes. And they're Nicola and Kestrel. But before we do any of that, as I said, they need to be chitted. And it's a really simple process. If you take something like this, or an old egg box, if you haven't got any of those, that'll work just as good. And then you've got your potato, and it needs to go a certain way up, and I'll show you what that is. If you look at the bottom of this potato, that's where it left the plant originally when it was growing. And on the top, you've got lots of little eyes. That's where your shoots are going to come from. So all you need to do is take your potato and plant it with those eyes facing up into one of these containers. Like that. And do exactly the same with all the rest. If you look closer at this one, you can see it's got a little chit just starting to appear. So again, we'll do it like that. And I've only got 6 of these potatoes, which is going to be enough for what I want for second earlies. Same thing again, that's where it broke away from the stem on the original plant. On the top, you can see all those little eyes. That side up, into your tray. And that's basically all you need to do. And of course, make sure you label them. So I've got my little tag. Just going to pop that in there, that side of a potato. That'll help keep that tag in. And that's all set up now to go back indoors for chitting. And then we just do exactly the same thing with the other ones. And every potato is exactly the same. That's where it left the stem. That's where your sprouts are going to come. So it's that side up. And again, just pop them in that tray. And there's about 8 of these altogether, and I think 6 of the other. But that's plenty, because when we do these second early potatoes, we're only going to be putting 2 seed potatoes per container. So that's still going to make quite a lot of containers for his first batch of potatoes this year. And again, label. So that's his Kestrel second early's done as well. Don't leave these outside in your greenhouse as well when you're chitting. It might be a little bit warmer in greenhouse and it's got quite a bit more light. But if you get a frost, that's going to really damage these potatoes and they'll probably not end up chitting at all. And this one, I'm still curious as to, did anything actually grow? Is there anything beneath this dead foliage? I don't think there will be, but it's still worth having a look because we can reuse this compost and save ourselves a bit of money when we come to planting those second earlies out. So we might as well have a quick look. So I'll just pop them on this tray and we'll do first potato reveal of 2023, which we know is going to be rubbish, but we might as well have a look, like I said. So we'll just check out this compost and see if there's anything at all in here that's any good. It's not much of a potato, but it is a potato. Let's just tip it out. And these are quite handy little containers for growing your first early and second earlies, because you know you're getting small potatoes and they've got these two carrying handles, so you can quite easily move it quickly indoors if we get an unexpected frost. And we have actually got a couple of potatoes in here. Not huge, but still a potato. Quite surprised. And they're very firm. So we could actually save these and replant them. Let's see if there's any more. And we've got another one there, quite a big one, and a very squished up seed potato. And another really tiny one. But that's about all for this. So although the Christmas potatoes didn't quite work out for us, we've still got that compost available that we can now reuse. Just add a few more nutrients to it. And apart from doing the containers this year, I'm also going to reuse old compost bags because they work just as good. So something like this is going to hold quite a lot of compost. So we just need to fold the tops down on these. Normally people grow the potatoes in 30 litre containers, and these compost bags all 56 litre, so you can potentially get a lot more potatoes out of a free bag. So another experiment for this year. And then we'll just make some holes in bottom. Make sure we've got good drainage. And then I'm just going to put this compost back in. And to start off with, we only want a few inches in bottom, or if you prefer, you can just fill it up. I just like to see my potatoes starting to produce foliage before I actually bury them, because then I know they're growing. And then I'm going to add some fish blood and bone to that, a nice amount, so we've got plenty of nutrients in this. Potatoes take a lot out of your compost. We'll give that a really good mix as well. I'll chuck in some slow release fertiliser as well. Then I'll add a little bit more compost at the top. And that is enough to start these off. And if you're also wanting to get a jump on season, you can take this bag indoors, so at least the compost stays warm. And then when those potatoes that we're chitting have got the sprouts on, about 5 centimetres long and a nice dark green purpley colour, you can just take your potatoes, plant them in that already set up bag. And your first potatoes that year are on the way. And this has basically cost us nothing. So if you don't want to buy pots, maybe ask around on allotments and see if anybody's actually saving some of these bags, and they might just give you a few. We've got loads of things that we're growing indoors as well that are now starting to come on. So later on today we'll take a look at how those plants are getting on, because the weather being as it is, we have still got some really nice plants growing. That's the Savoy cabbage in a tiny little pot, which pretty soon will be moving into something a little bigger. But you can see that the light levels are starting to pick up. It is getting a little bit warmer than it definitely was in December, and as a result we're starting to see a bit of life. And if you want to see what else we do over the next few weeks leading up to spring, please hit that subscribe button, press that notifications bell, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one. Take care.